It begins tomorrow. I'm your host, Steve Van Metre, and thanks for joining me today. Our lead story today, the biggest market-moving event of the year, starts tomorrow, and you're not going to believe what it is because most investors are completely mispositioned at this point. They have no idea what is about to hit the broad equity market and the bond market simultaneously. And that's why every Sunday we like to look at the technicals, momentum, and machine positioning of the broad equity market, bond market, commodities, currencies to help you be better positioned. And that's exactly what we're doing on the Goldman Sachs trade desk. We're trying to get in early before things open on Monday to help you be positioned correctly. And with that, let's over to Goldman, where we picked today's story up. From their tactical flow of funds report in November, there are now only 47 trading days left in 2023. And they think the year-end rally has been delayed, but get this, not canceled. And I'm going to show you because they see conditions are in place for both equity and bonds to rally. So said in another way, I'm so bearish that I'm actually bullish. Again, this from Goldman. Let's take a look at what the big catalyst is. And today marks the first day of the estimated open window period. Now, this comes back to last week as we estimate companies roll into their open window period 1 to 2 days post earnings release. So what happens is a company posts their earnings, and then within 24 to 48 hours, the big stock share buyback machine turns back on, and they've got just to the end of the year to execute all those purchases. And this big flood of buying is a huge catalyst that could put a massive tailwind behind the broad equity market. And as of today, we estimate 20% of the S&P 500 are in their open window. And here we go, with 40% in the open window by the end of the week. That means Monday market open, a full 40% of the S&P now is out of their blackout window, ready to roll. And during the open window, companies are permitted to enter discretionary repurchase orders with that window ending early December. So this thing's looking to rally and rally hard because the percentage of annual buyback execution, this is the biggest 2-month period of the year. And for that reason, we think is going to be a big catalyst for the machines. And now remember, the machines that trade this market, they trade based on momentum. They look at what the price levels are and they move accordingly. So if a big buyer comes in under the market and starts driving the tape higher, well, the machines have to adjust. Now you remember from prior shows, the machines have made fairly sizable short positions here. So if you get a catalyst to the upside, such as a big wave of corporate share buybacks, what that puts the machines in a position to do is short cover and then go long at a time. When you think about how investors are positioned now, they've gotten spooked by the market, they've sold, they moved out, they may even gotten short, and now they're about to get steamrolled. And here we can say, looking at the CTA for global equities and what we could see in a flat tape over the next week, $40 billion to sell, with $16 billion to sell in the S&P 500. And an uptape, there's still sellers over the week, but this is going to be all kind of wiped out here by early next week. And a down tape, there's sellers. We've seen that. But look at this over the next month. If stocks go sideways, there's still net sellers at $74 billion in global equities. That's a pretty decent number. $28 billion of that in the S&P 500 alone. But if we can see a big move in corporate share buybacks driving up the tape, we could see $183 billion to buy over the next month, $54 billion in the S&P. And my friends, you want to talk about an event that would drive the market higher, that would do it. And again, most investors are not expecting the Santa Claus rally, and here we're about to see what could be the beginning of it starting on Monday. And let's take a look at the machine positioning here, because what we can know is the systematic positioning in U.S. equities across CTAs, risk parity, and vol control showed in blue. They have led the market to the downside. In fact, they've overcommitted to it, and we know what happens if the market starts to rally up from here. These machines, as you can see, they've got to start short covering, and that means they're going to chase the market up and rapidly. And how about their position in U.S. equities? They're a pretty extreme short positions, not up max short, but not far off of that. That means, of course, if stocks rally, these machines are going to get clubbed pretty hard. They don't like that. They're programmed to avoid that. So if the market rallies and they're short, you better believe they're going to come off those short positions super fast. And again, all that's going to do is drive the tape even higher. Let's take a look here at TD Securities and what we have from their report. 41.90 to buy. Not much help there. Under 41.10 to sell in the S&P, so possible some early week selling because we're right off of that trigger point. Otherwise, look for the machines then to take hold as, of course, the corporate share buyback engine gets going in a big way. Let's take a look at our own screens because look at the S&P 500. Momentum is negative. The RSI is deep in oversold territory. And we told you last week that could be a catalyst to bring technical traders in. The MACD's got a negative cross. Our own Momentum Timer Pro report, which aggregates multiple technical signals across, of course, every day. They looks at it over a 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month window. It gives you the daily signal as well. We've got 6 consecutive daily signals. By the way, I just want to mention on both the reports, I've refreshed it. There are 5 coupons left. If you don't believe me, click on the link. You'll see there are 5 coupons for a free month for both CTA Timer Pro, our machine positioning mimic report, and Momentum Timer Pro that looks at technical signals and smooths them all out, does all the hefty living for you. If you want a free month, grab them before those 5 are gone. Links in the description below. How about this? We got stopped out on our position here on the S&P on 1027. That was a 5.2% loss. We said there was a risk there. You may remember I was hoping that, of course, the corporate share buyback engine would kick in. Didn't quite get it before we got stopped out. Anyways, one loss, not a big deal. We'll be looking to buy back on a flip on our CTA and Momentum Timer Pro reports. And if you're one of those lucky 5, you can get that next month for free. Here you see, what are we looking for? Now we're at the optimal position on our CTA report. Max short on our fast algorithm, max short on our slow algorithm. Momentum Timer Pro, sell signals. What do we want to see? A flip of this from minus 100 with a buying signal up and a +1 count or more here. That would be our target to buy in. So keep that in mind. Upside target 416 on the S&P. Let's take a look at that. Downside around 396. Let's flip the charts over and see. 416, that's just overhead here. Downside, you look at the volume profile over the next 2 years. So it's very reasonable. We could get just an early week thrust down. And if we do, from a technical perspective, this is what you want, because look at all of the buying support under here. We can see where price is once resistance, where it rallies up and gets rejected, it becomes support. There is a lot of that sitting right down here, and you can see this beautiful volume here. So if it breaks down, early week trading, don't be panicking. Look for an entry point here. Watch our reports. Again, hopefully you're one of those 5 that get it. If not, you might have to wait till the next time we put 5 out there. But nevertheless, you want to see this get down here into the support zone, hold and rally off of there. That would be kind of an ideal situation. Now let's take a look at QQQ. Of course, these are tech stocks, and we know these companies just reported late last week and are going to be looking to buy a massive amount of their stock back. Now, we did not get stopped out of this position. We're still down based on our reports, but here we have a buy it open at 10.9. RSI is near oversold position at 34. MACD has got a negative cross. Momentum Timer Pro, 6 consecutive daily sell signals. Notably here, we're pretty, almost max short on the fast algorithm, not so much on the slow. So we're not looking to worry about what's happening here. We're already in a position. If it rallies up, then you're going to want to add to that, of course. Upside target, 100-day moving average. Downside, 200-day moving average. Let's take a look at the chart for QQQ, because again, this is where I think we're going to see a big catalyst. This could easily drop down right around the 200-day moving average. Wouldn't surprise me. Could dip a little below it, but we get these corporates coming in and buy. We're just sitting right off of oversold territory on the MACD. You get a catalyst here, and you could get a run right back up near the 2-year high by the end of the year. So that would be a massive move for, of course, the market. How about the bond market? Goldman says, hey, wait a minute. It's not just stocks that are going to rally here. Could be the bond market as well. And here you can see the CTA supply for global bonds is starting to ease. And if yields start to move lower, Well, watch out. Machines are buyers. Why? Because there's one critical factor here they have to understand. As you're about to see when we look at TD Securities stuff, they are max short. You got Nomura max short, TD Securities max short, Goldman max short. Guess what? Everybody is max short on this thing. And when machines are short, price rallies, they've got to cover quickly because the losses get doubled when you're short and the market rallies. How about this? Over 1 week, flat tape, $2 billion to sell, $4 billion to buy, just in treasuries alone. Not a big number here. Up tape, $37 billion. This is global bonds, $17 billion to buy in U.S. treasuries. Over the next month, though, let's take a look at this. In a flat tape, $18 billion to sell, $7 billion to buy in U.S. treasuries. But here's the big one. Up tape, over the next month, $341 billion in global equities or global bonds to buy, $97 billion to buy in U.S. treasuries. That would certainly move the markets a bit. How about we take a look at TD Securities? No help from them in the near-term future. Got to get over 109.75 on the 10-year to buy. But again, notably here, max short. And what else told you that? Our CTA timer bro, max short. See, there you go. And what are we looking for here? This fast algorithm to come off that 100% short position. And if you're one of those lucky 5, you get your next month free so you can track this, trade it possibly, and then you'll see the complete value of the reports and why maybe one trade could pay for your whole year's subscription. How about Momentum Timer Bro? Let's take a look. You got 2 daily buy counts. So all we're waiting is CTA to trigger here, and there we go. That'll be the ad on the next move. Let's take a look. Where RSA is at 41 now. MACD's got a positive cross. Our cost basis, because we were not using stop losses, I want to show you sometimes people don't do this. They get in bad positions. Cost basis way up here at 190, spot 93. Friday closing 84.37. We'll be looking to add a position here to this as soon as we see a change on our CTA report. Let's take a look because our upside potential here is now the 21-day moving average. In the near term, you get the CTA buying, and we're talking 50-day moving average getting hit pretty quick. Short term, 21-day moving average, that's what we're looking at right in here, maybe a little above that, around 86. We should be able to see our report triggering here in a matter of days if we continue to see this movement to the upside. But again, positive momentum across both the RSI and the MACD. This is what you want to see, looking like yields in this case. Again, markets unexpected, yields come down. Of course, we know that equity markets love the fact that yields could come down. But how about gold? Let's take a look and see what's going on with gold, because it took off like a rocket, and our machine positioning and our Momentum Timer Pro caught those trades, as you've probably seen in prior shows, both on GLD and GDX. Let's take a look. Buying over 2,000 now, so we know TD Securities, they should be net buyers going into next week, selling below 1970. So buy side, further upside potential in gold just on machine positioning alone. But how about GLD? Momentum's positive. RSI's just off the charts at 75. Remember, though, it can stay overbought for much longer periods than it can oversold. Typically, MACD's got a positive cross. Momentum Timer Pro, 13 consecutive daily buy signals. And what happened on 10-12? We had to buy it open. And see, if you're subscribed, you could have seen that too. So we got stop loss, revise that up to 180, spot 82. Friday's closing at 186.15. I think this can run higher. I believe the upside target, we're now looking around 188, downside target, a 200-day moving average. Look at this. We're maxed out on our CTA report. We're maxed out on our Momentum Timer Pro on the daily. We know this thing's likely going higher, but we want to hold on to our gains. That's why you want to raise your stop loss levels, my friends. That is key. Either that or use a trailing stop, one of the two. So here you can see gold making a run up. This could be a fourth top. You have one top, two top, three. How about 4? Again, we're targeting somewhere around that 188 level. We see this thing gap up and run. And so we're thinking this can still go higher. And that is, there is really just no catalyst other than recent tops. Many of you have said that, hey, see triple tops or bullish pattern. Almost that is never the case. If we didn't see the breakdown, you get a quad top. And this is about the most bearish signal you can want. But nevertheless, we still traded it, and that was a key point here. As you can see, we picked that up. We got a nice gain there. Want to hold on to it. Now let's take a look at GDX. We picked this one up too with a buy it open on, of course, October 11th at 28.22. Friday's closing 29.20. So that's in the black, raising the stop loss level to our open level, just so we can just hold on to this in case it goes south. I still think this is going to rally a bit more too. RSI's at 57. MACD's got a positive cross. One thing to keep in mind here, is usually the metals lead the miner. This time, the metal is leading the miners. It means miners got to play catch up. That's why I didn't want to tighten up the stops too much on this trade. Anyways, we see upside target, 200-day moving average, downside target unchanged. Look at our CTA reports, almost maxed out. Our Momentum Timer Pro picked it up beautifully. That is the power of the two reports, my friends. And again, could be yours. Links in the description below. Let's take a look at GDX here. 200-day moving average, the upside. I think there's a lot more room to run. Look at the 2-year volume profile at 31.56. Wouldn't surprise me if we tag that potentially all the way up here to around $33. Wouldn't that be an incredible trade? Because you've got kind of a left shoulder ahead, kind of a right shoulder here forming neckline just right above here, right around 29.81. Break that, obviously you've got some upside momentum there, and that is a nice clean trade. Again, you see our reports picked it up. That's the power of them. And let's talk about the dollar, because the dollar could be a huge catalyst to drive gold higher, gold stocks higher, and of course, not to mention stocks themselves and bonds higher. But the dollar looking could push a little higher. Well, I think it can, but how much longer? RSI is at 61. MACD still got a negative cross. Momentum Timer Pro's picked up 4 daily buy signals. Now, you remember last week we told you don't worry about one sell signal on the chart, because if anything, it's an indicator to raise your stop loss levels up. Here we can see the machine positioning on the short, slow algorithm is cool, or a fast algorithm is cooling off a bit. Nevertheless, if we have no position here, we're looking to take a reverse with UDN, which we'll cover on the show when we get some confirming signals here. At this point, we would want to see Momentum Timer Pro flip to a negative signal. We've already seen, of course, our CTA Timer Pro come off that 100% long. So now we need Momentum Timer Pro to confirm that, and then we'll add a position and a slide for UDN. Friday's closing 29.97, upside target 30.48, 50-day moving average to the bottom of where we think this could go in the short term. But once the dollar gives up space here, watch out below. Because if the dollar gets a whiff of the Fed cutting rates or thinking about it, well, that means it's headed lower. Nevertheless, 50-day moving average, that's a downside move here. It has climbed this 21-day moving average beautifully. Of course, upside here, just a little bit higher. What did we said? 30.48 to the upside. That would put it way up here. That would be bearish for bonds at this point, bearish for gold. But I think you're looking at what's starting to form potential topping pattern here. Again, we have the Fed meeting next week. Any whiff that the Fed is done, and you watch the dollar come down, you're going to watch everything else rally. That is what is likely to come. And of course, our recovery trade as well. We have platinum. Remember, we were trying to pick this one up. We traded this one without stop loss level again to show you that you can use the reports. They're not perfectly accurate. That's, of course, no signals are, but we want to show you how to use these reports. And we always encourage you to use stop losses. But if you didn't, if you forgot, you made a mistake, it's okay. Don't panic. There's a way out. Just use the tools you've got. So we have momentum positive on platinum. RSI is at 52. MACD has got a positive cross. Momentum Timer Pro, 10 consecutive daily buy signals. Remember, last week we added a position on October 20th. We have not put a stop loss level on this yet because we're going to look to get out of this. Cost basis 86.35. Friday's closing 83.26. Upside targets 100-day moving average. That'll get us near our cost basis, and potential breakout from there means we can close out with perhaps a small gain or no loss. Downside target 82.18, and you see our machine positioning is building here. Momentum's building here. This is exactly what you want to see in terms of a price rally. And of course, if the dollar reverses, that could be a huge tailwind under platinum. And look at this volume profile line on the 6-month window. Boom, holding support. Buyers under here. There's your catalyst to the 100-day moving average. A breakout above that takes you up to close to the 200-day moving average, maybe a little above. Put us nicely back in the black on this position. Looking at a 2-year chart, you got 1 bottom, 2 bottom, 3 bottom. A bear, obviously a bear trap. And now looking in, you see there's a volume profile on the 2-year at 190 or 90.62. Let's look at the 1-year. It's right up there as well. That's where we know the sellers are at. So of course, as we zoom back into the 6 months chart, you have support underneath. You've got the building momentum here. This is what you want to see, a breakout in price. And that's exactly, my friends, how you do a recovery trade if you didn't use a stop loss. But again, always use your stop losses. It's really, really important that you do that. And with that, I'm Steve Van Meter. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being fans. Bye now.